Hello, you lovely battlefielders. It is I, Monsieur Chadman, and of course I am back bringing you more Battlefield goodness. Now, unfortunately, I shall be flying solo this evening. Unfortunately, my colleague, Mr.Dogbert, will be unable to attend, so unfortunately that means you get the gloriousness that is me all on my Todd, so to speak, and I shall be bringing you all the Battlefield 4 action from tonight's 5v5 Conquest Small Test Cup number 1. So that's what we're looking forward to today, and it should be an interesting experience. Casting Battlefield 4 solo, have done it a few times in the beta, looking forward to seeing how it goes, and I'm looking forward to getting plenty of feedback from you lovely people in chat, obviously. All looking forward to that, and we're hoping to get a match sorted out very soon. Once I've got that information, I will of course hop onto the server and we shall be sorting out the brackets. I will tell you obviously the brackets once we know who is what, and my advance thanks go to the admins who are going to be helping me, because normally what would happen is my trusty sidekick, no god he'll kill me for saying that, my trusty co-caster Mr.Dogbert normally goes out and acquires the matches for us while I'm in the process of doing all the production and stuff like that and leaving it on the splash screen when the game's running. And so unfortunately I don't have that tonight, so I am having to rely upon the ESL admins just a little bit more than I would normally. So my thanks go to them in advance for putting up with me. And I think I've just had a bit of a conversation with Phantom from Exertus, and hopefully if they are playing in the first round, the round I think of 32 or possibly more, I will get involved and commentate on that first match. So in the meantime, I'm going to check my Skype, check my information, find out where we're going, find out about the brackets, and I'll be right back. So stay tuned, inflicting music upon you. 3, 2, 1. Okay guys, I just wanted to update you on something. If you guys haven't actually seen anything of the ESL portal, there is some additional information, and also recently there has been an update for the rule set on game 5x5 game modes. Now what I wanted to do was actually tell you what's involved. So as you can see, these are the brackets, brackety goodness. Sorry, actually no, they're rule sets, even though it says brackets on my button, so I've obviously been completely fooled by my own program. Never mind, it's a good start, and it just goes to show that the brain is working. Anyway, so you can see here the rule sets for every 5-on-5 game mode, and you can see here that basically banned weapons, gadgets for 5-on-5 game mode, M320, except for smoke, claymores, C4s, battle pickups, so that will be the likes of the skill cannon, and of course the, what's the word? The USAS, the M26, that'll be the dart, the airburst, the spawn beacon, tugs, all shotguns and motion balls. So unfortunately the joke of it's time for you to whip your balls out is not going to happen, especially in 5v5 competition. Now, map pool for domination mode, you'll have these maps. So there's Dawnbreaker, Langsing Dam, or Langkang Dam I think it is, Goldwood Railway, Paracel Storm, Operation Locker, Zavod, and the Siege of Shanghai. Now there is a specific rule here for the Siege of Shanghai that elevators and ladders are forbidden. Use of this will result in a minus 25 ticket per use, and penalty points will be given. Now if for whatever reason you want to see that, you can obviously go onto the ESL website, and it's in the news under the Battlefield 4 section, and there's also a guide from the ESL on how to set up your server accordingly for competition. So in the meantime, I'm just waiting for a confirmation of the brackets and the updated information, and then we'll be underway hopefully with the first match, and I'm looking forward to every glorious moment, as indeed I'm sure you are. Be right back. As the music ends perfectly. Wonderful timing. Good job, Winamp. You rule. Come on. Go. Oh, screw it. Thank you. Okay, so I will be going into Exertus versus MNG, and you lovely people wanted to see the brackets, so ask and ye shall receive after a fashion. So here are the brackets, as you can see. Now, there's Leisure BF in there, German team. There's Exertus EU, who we've seen, and MNG as well. There's the Turk Clan and J Benito. Team Fragmatic versus Anarchy Gaming. And you've got LKG Esports and Chaos Gaming, Vination and Chaos Team, National Battlefield Network versus Team Dolan Revival, Ebash and EQ Rook, the Greek Operation Force and Thugs Family Company. Wow, that's a great combination. Interlude versus Night Soldiers Esports. Hellenic Elite Armed Team, that would be the Greeks. Don't mess with the Hellenic attitude. Inri Esports BF4, Project C versus Paranoia Esports Oldies. Battlefield, so Team Empire and the Legends. And down the bottom we have Lambda and Royal Gaming, Team Frostbite Reloaded. Nice. And Paradox Esports and Team Frostbite Artisan and Enigma Gaming. So, we're going to be bringing you Exertus versus MNG. And it, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be on Lankang Dam. So, we shall be right back. We're getting into the server now. Stay tuned. Okay, so as you can see, in any second now, I shall just do some pausing. And I'm just getting on the server. So, shockingly enough, as I think my Battlefield may have just crashed, which is kind of awesome if that's the case. No, it hasn't. Yay for Battlefield. Okay. So, the teams are just getting on, and let's take you through the map. Now, look at that. It's a game cam. Bet you never thought you'd see one of these in one of my broadcasts. So, this is the Battlefield 4 5-on-5 Test Cup for Conquest. And it's a pretty damn small map, I have to say. And so, let me take you in, and we'll have a sniff around, shall we? So, let's free cam it up. And let's get some sound on. And it seems strangely quiet. Anyway, so, for those of you who may have seen Obliteration, similar sort of layout. You're going to have an A point there, C point there, and a B point at the island. So there we go, the island point as well. So, this is what these two teams are going to be looking at. And obviously, we've got MNG versus Exertus. It's only taken me 3 competitions to actually say their name correctly, which is always a good thing, I have to say. You know, pronunciation is important. What can I say? And so, this is, they're not even going to worry about this thing. I mean, okay, this is bad engineering on its own. I mean, you can see the damn thing falling apart. Haha, the damn thing. Yeah, see what I did then? Anyway, you can see it's pretty much falling apart, but it's a nice little camera position. And that's not even going to be looked at, bothered with, or even harassed in any way, shape or form. Now, you can see here the sluice gates, I think you would call them. And somebody set a car alarm off already. No respecters of property. Anyway, so here is the C point. Now, obviously you've got all of these areas around the C point. You're going to have the facility inside. You're going to have the main reception. You're going to have the building on the right and the building on the left. But predominantly, most of the capturing point is going to be that flag, which is outside. Now, if those guys are going to have a little bit of a problem because there's not a huge amount of cover around that point. But it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. Now, over here, you have the A point. You can see here, 2 buildings separated by a sky bridge, I think is what we shall call it. Nice warehouse facility, plenty of high ceilings and gantries for the nasty, nasty ambushing of your enemies. And of course in here is what appears to be a couple of pallet trucks, which is obviously very important for making sure that you get your next delivery. Now, let us fly over to the B point. So here is the B flag, and as you can see, for those of you who are pretty much familiar with this map, and to be honest, that should be flipping everyone, I would sincerely hope, but, you know, can never tell. So, this is the flag at B. And you can see here, there's a sneaky Chinese person who's capping it. Look at that. So, that is the B point. So, only 3 points. Over here is the Russian spawn, you can see here. Complete with gunfire. And these guys will spawn, not looking at pretty much any vehicles, so it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. As you can see, the MNG guys taking pot shots at each other. And as we fly over to the China spawn, here we go. So you can hear the beeping of the reviving paddles, but that's pretty much it. And so we're just waiting for the final members of MNG to get in. Well, actually, no, one member of Exertus, as Viscius seems to be on the wrong side, which is a bit of a concern. So this is what you're going to see. Now, let's talk about strategies, how these guys are actually going to do it. Now, obviously, that's going to be the relative gimme for each of the teams. If you look here, distance-wise, I would say America's got a slight advantage. Sorry, the Russians have got a slight advantage in distance because they've got a little less distance to go from their spawn than the Chinese have to their point. Now, it's possible that you might see 1 or 2 people make their way out of here and then try and hold down that B point. I'd be surprised if you see more than 1 person on that B point. Now, the reason for that is because you can't really afford to have them away from it. Or you might even see them just capture the point, move away, and then have as many people as possible focus their attention on making sure that these 2 points are in their favour. Because even if the enemy focuses their attention onto B, that means you will have less people to fight against if you're pushing into A. That basically means that then the advantage will be on your side, and you can then essentially get the bleed onto your enemy, in this case the Russians, and that will be to your advantage. So, we should just have to wait and see what the teams decide to do. So obviously with your Blackie, Phantom, and there's Kona Fire and Hadoukens, and of course Comba, Syriza, Rave, and I Frozen, who we saw last night. So, let's see. Oh, look at that. Look at that camo on his weapon. There's a man who can blend into the background with any yellow-coloured black and yellow shark. Well done. The buzz of high-powered electronics in the background. So, we are just waiting for the guys to get themselves set up. Now, let's have a look at the A point. Let's have a look at the flag itself. So there's the flag. Pretty much the consistency you'll notice in all of these bases is that the flag is out in the open, meaning that the burn area will probably be relatively limited. To get onto the burn and to actually change that flag ownership means you probably won't have a huge amount of cover. And obviously these are all removable and destructible, and they won't last long against multiple grenades and general explosions. C point, as you can see, is pretty much the same gig. We looked at this earlier. You're not going to have a lot of cover. You might be able to have people covering from doorways and stairwells, but that's pretty much going to be all she wrote in that respect. You could have somebody hiding behind the bins, possibly, or maybe in this little sort of sneaky area here. But you know, we don't know yet. This is what this test cup is all about. And as you can see, we'd look inside the reception, but we can't because we can't get through the glass, which is another issue in itself. Now, it could be that the team who wins ends up by regarding this flag as irrelevant. That could be a possibility. I've seen it done before, where they just do not focus their attention on that flag. Now, bear in mind, they could, for example, hold that flag and move there, but could this be the ace in the hole? Could this be the little help that you get in order to get more of a bleed onto your enemy. It's interesting to see how the B flag will actually come into play in this competition as more members of Exertus decide to fall off the server. So we are just waiting to see what happens. Oh, look at some of those pings. They're not good, are they? 67, 105, 115, 110. So it's possible we might be moving to an MNG server. I don't know, as the pings might be a little bit better. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to cut to last splash screen and just check I don't know if Jeeps are actually allowed. I shall confirm if that is the case. So that's what we're looking at the moment, and we're just obviously waiting to get confirmation on that, and we shall be underway in a matter of minutes. So interesting times up ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Seems way too big in conquest. That's a good point, actually. Now, obviously, let's look at the map. Let's look at the map and compare it to the likes of Grand Bazaar in Battlefield 3. Now, I guess, speaking from the point of view of Grand Bazaar was probably maybe about the size of this little section of road going all the way round and then down to about here. So, and that was a three flag small conquest point. And this is a 3 flag. So I understand what you're saying, that maybe it's a little bit too large, that maybe there needs to be another building section over here, so that you're essentially, the Russians spawn this side of the river, like here or somewhere, and then you fight over multiple buildings in this area, and then you move the Russian spawn a little bit further back, maybe, you know, down to here possibly, from one of the larger spawns. It's a difficult thing to say. This is the reason why we're having the test cups, is so that we can actually have these things worked out. So, now part of the problem that you're going to have is when you die, you're going to want to spawn on the nearest team member. Now, if you have a complete wipe and you don't have any of those flags, you have got quite a long walk to get to the first point for your against your enemy. And your enemy are going to want to shut that down. So, if for whatever reason you have that point, like for example they have them there, you're going to want to put enemies all down this area here and basically spawn lock them, because that's what's going to win you the match, unless any smart enemies can actually get out there. And they set the car alarm off again. So okay, if only there we go. So, it is infantry only. There are no jeeps allowed or anything along those lines. Okay. Oh, Gatherath's got some ice cream. Peanut butter cup ice cream. Okay. It's probably heresy to him, but I've never had Ben and Jerry's. Just not my thing, I guess. So, let's see. There we go. Thank you, Blue, for that confirmation. And we should be in the game with 14 seconds left on the clock. But not everybody's in. Look at this. Look. Now you can see you've got 4 members of the MNG team, the Italians. They are in and ready to go. And you have 3 members of Exertus. So, comments are welcome. What's your thoughts generally on the map? If you were a map designer, or if you had the choice of changing this map to be more in keeping with what you would say a bit smaller, how would you change it exactly? Now, it could be that you could have multiple capture points in the electricity pylons, or turn this into a bunker of sorts that could make it capturable, or have the flag point on top there, and then essentially you would make the conquest aspect of it literally that building and that building, which are the spawns, and then people fight over the rubble and everything else in between. That could make for a very interesting map. But I'll be interested to hear in chat what your thoughts are. And what's that link? Okay. What are you posting links in my chat for? Bad man. So, here we go. I think, yeah, they got everyone in the server and we should be underway very shortly. So, as you can see, yeah, some of the points have already been captured. So, we're due for a server restart very soon. And you can see the remaining members, Hadouken, Blackie, Phantom, Conafire and King Revo. And yeah, you can tell it's definitely not live now because of the mass murdering and team killing that's going on, courtesy of Rave over here. Oh, see that combination shock paddle and elastic band, and it didn't do him any good whatsoever as he just got shot to pieces. So there you have the server restart. Yes, most people have bots for song requests. I don't play music. Generally, the music that you're hearing is not actually songs per se. So, and unfortunately, if it's copyrighted music, I ain't going to be playing it because this is going on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for some Conquest Small. So, on the Russian side, it is, of course, Exertus. On the Chinese side, it is MNG, English, or EU, I should say, versus Italian, who are also EU. So it is EU versus EU, but we'll take it as English versus the Italians. As the sluice gates are open, the water's pouring through into the main lake, and we fly over to find out what happens when you spawn as a Chinese person on this map. And ladies and gentlemen, they're moving out. So, what we're going to do, look at the map. Now, there you go, you can see a 3-2, possibly a 3-1-1 split here. And you're looking at, I think MNG seems to have committed a little bit more. We'll wait and see how that turns out. So, you can see now, this is going to be, there's going to be a little bit of a bust up. Yep, there's definitely going to be a bust up over at the B point. So, as you can see, the mermaids have arrived, and over the other side, you can see members of Exertus now pushing in. So you can see, there we go, grenade fire coming in from all directions as members of MNG are trying to secure that island. You can see, there we go, fire going in, grenades going in, and they're trying to move in, but it looks like, there we go, outflanking maneuver coming in from Exertus. They then return fire, MNG returning fire, and it looks like MNG have been taken down. 2 members they've already lost, and they're spawning to capture this point. There we go, that's Blackie taken down. 1 member, it looks like, of Exertus still remaining on that island. He's got to be very careful. Let's see if we can find out. That's King Revo, so he is a force to be reckoned with, but they've got to be careful. He's going to be sneaking around looking for him. There we go, taking down 1 member of MNG, going for a second. Can he get it? Looks like he's got to spawn on top of him to try and capture that point. Now you can see the problem is exactly what I thought might be happening. The B point now being captured, and now you can see multiple members of the MNG. Oh, look at that, he's still going, but oh, Blackie ran out of ammo and unfortunately was not able to finish the job. So the point goes to the Chinese team. The bleed is now onto Exertus. 242 tickets. Look how quickly that's going down, and you can see there they only hold the A point. So here is the A point currently being held onto by the Russian team, and now we move over to the Chinese team as Max Combat commits suicide, cannot handle the shame, and we're looking at Viscius there. So let's find out what these guys decide to do. Let's go in with Blackie. So watching Blackie making his way up, you can see him trying to engage. There we go. Unfortunately, it was locked out, or didn't notice one of the other enemies. So now you can see Phantom moving up, healing his teammate. You can see him making his way very... Oh, look at that. I do believe that's a little bit of... Yes, that is the M16A4, the burst fire. And it looks like he's got the laser sight on there as well for a little bit of hit fire accuracy. So the B point now being recaptured, or being captured for the first time by Exertus. And now they're in a situation where the members of the team now decide to respawn and move over to the next point, because over at the next point, the point being held by Exertus, you're looking at the likes of Viscous making his way in, breaking the glass as he enters, doesn't even go through the doorway. This is the contempt he has for that building. And you can see, looks like he's armed with a 416. Possibly, let's see, difficult to see from this particular angle. Let's see if we can find out. Yeah, that looks like a definite 416 to me. And you can see him trying to spray a little bit of action onto the C point, which is in the process of being captured. Now, let's find out who that is. So, that would be Mr. Hadoukens. And he's got to be careful. Oh, because he's got to watch out for that nade. He pops a nade down there as well, and then gets drilled very quickly. So poor Hadoukens coming in, trying to get that capture point. But what I think he has done is he's actually focused the attention of the MNG away from that A point, so that two members of Exertus, Phantom and Blackie, can actually capture that point back now. So they've essentially redirected the attentions of the MNG team, and bear in mind there's only about 10 tickets difference between these two guys. So this is classic Battlefield what you're watching here at the moment. And now you can see with three members here, and it's looking like a situation where Blackie and Phantom are going to have it all to do. They've got to be careful. They don't have enough people by the looks of it in order to ensure that that burn remains good, and they've got to be very careful. They're checking the corners, they're checking the edges. As you can now see, lots of fire going in. So we're watching Phantom through Phantom's eyes at the moment, and you can see him looking for an opportunity to get a pick, maybe even up the numbers on that point, and get to a situation where, there we go, trades fire with Combat. Combat takes him down very quickly, and now Blackie is definitely at a disadvantage. So let's go on and see what's going on. As we can see over here, it looks like the B point being well guarded. So they've got King Revo and Connor looking after that. And let's follow Hadoukens as he's making his way into the field. Any impressions? What, as in like a coin impression? Or wax impression of that? As to impressions of other people? No, I don't do things like that. Oh, Hadoukens taking fire from the main C building as Phantom moving to follow up. And you can see him popping nades in there. Looks to be a impact grenade as well. Looks like his teammate is now spawned nearby him to assist in that fire, as he then takes fire as he was trying to get up into the up to the building. As now you can see King Revo moving in, and you can see now that the bleed is currently onto Exertus, and they need to get it off them. They are holding that point quite effectively, and it looks like actually Exertus are going for the option that I mentioned earlier, is that they're actually keeping a guy who's holding on to that point, at the same time as we're now watching Blackie, who's sneaking around looking for a little bit of trouble. You can see him now with teammates who have now spawned on him. Another man who breaks the glass. So let's follow Blackie as he makes his way in, working together with Phantom and King Revo. And you can see them trying to engage those guys and watching the back for exactly that reason. Taking down Rave, but then being finished off by another member of MNG. So you can see now the point in danger of being taken here. There we go, Viscous being finished off, and now Phantom comes down with a quick attempt at a revive, then engages Combat with the M16A4. Nice shot indeed. And now you can see a situation where they are going to be in a position to capture that A point and get the bleed away from them, which is 156 tickets for Exertus at the moment, with 231 in favour of MNG. So if we look at Frozen, iFrozen over here, currently in the process of doing his filing. He's looking towards the B area, and obviously just trying to ensure that this point remains in the hands of the Italians. So let's find out what's going on over here, as you've got MNG looking to clear up against Exertus. They want to deny this cap from them, get the bleed back onto Exertus, and see if they can actually do some serious damage there. And it looks like members of the team are being revived, and we're now watching to see what's going on, as we're now looking at the likes of Phantom, who appears to be moving in general direction. See if we can find out where he's going. We've got to be careful. There we go, sneaks around the corner. Now, one thing I'm not noticing is nobody's using any kind of RPGs or anything like that, as he comes in a nice side rage, but then gets cut down. Unfortunately for Phantom, he wasn't going to have the speed of firepower that the M16A4 provides, and wouldn't be able to take down everyone. There we go, that's Syriza being taken down as well by Blackie. Nade comes up, Blackie has to cheese it in the opposite direction, and this is going to be a nasty situation for them, as now you've got Viscous moving up, taking down Hadouken. Phantom running for cover, Phantom returning fire, and Hadoukens then gets returned to the land of the living. But now you've got Combat moving up. There we go, taking down King Revo and then being finished off as well. So there we go, Exertus caught in the corner and hold up. And when they've got their back to the wall, they were managing to fight them off with a little bit of superior firepower. As we're now watching the yellow and black shark taking a little bit of fire, spotting into Hadouken, taking him down with consistent fire from the Scar Rates. That extra damage from the Scar Rates doing its thing. 150 tickets to 209. There's only 50 tickets difference between these two teams. Phantom gets taken down. Beautiful grenade from the MNG team into the last man standing there for Exertus. And now we're looking at a situation where Exertus might be in a stronger position to actually force their domination onto this point, as it looks like a little bit of a graphic glitch going on there. And we're now looking at conq, who is in as a sniper. So, oh, look at this. Numbers moving in from multiple directions. The MNG guys are determined to get that point back, as you can see, popping in for a quick revive onto Rave as Combat's taking fire and they're moving on to the next point. So, as I pause for breath, and we now find out what's going on. 130 tickets to 205. Only 70 tickets that are the difference. Now you'll notice also that as a result of that, the actual plan for Exertus has changed up. They're focusing their attention a little bit more seriously on towards that A point. They need to get that bleed off them, and we find out what's going on. As you can see, iFrozen obviously over here babysitting this point, and now we're in a position to find out what's going on. As look at that, loads of fire coming in. Let's follow through Vicious. And it looks like a possible, almost complete wipe there for Exertus as they tried to push into that point. They've still got the bleed on them, and it's not looking good as far as they're concerned. So it looks like the A point going to be returning to, oh, Phantom shutting down the enemy as Kona gets taken down in front of him. And let's see if they can get in. Possibly he's going to go for a quick ninja revive. He gets it, but then unfortunately sacrifices his life and the life of his teammate in order to get that revive. So Combat looking in a very, very nasty situation and looking dead, basically. So let's find out. So let's lock in on Hadouken. Hadoukens, who we are now following as the car alarms blaring in the background. And you can see the A point, the bleed is now onto the Chinese team. And I think that they're going to have to actually do something about it. Let's see King Revo. So you can see King Revo basically engaging the mermaids in the water. He doesn't believe in mermaids, and he is intent on shooting at them. There we go, nice shooting from King Revo, long distance with the Ace 23. Lovely, long, accurate stuff, and he's obviously sniffing around for people, as now you can see Exertus pushing on from the A point towards the B point. Now you've got multiple members of MNG looking to try and defend against that as Combat gets taken down. Let's watch the push coming in from Blackie. A long distance fire, that's why you've got to love the Ace 23. That accuracy at long distance, fantastic gun it is, which is why everyone's using it. 42 health. He's been taken down a little bit of health, but he's got support of Exertus, and it's possible that they may be pinned at this particular point. They've got to get out of there. They've got to push forward as quickly as they can. They need to do something about it, and this is going to be a problem for the B point, and a problem for young Mr. Revo, as the king may in fact be dethroned, as we're waiting to see if there's a little bit of regicide going on the island of B. So we're looking at the island of B now, and you can see a little bit of sneaking around going on. Looks like he's spotted some people to try and get an idea of where these people are, hoping not to get cycled around on. And there we go, just caught him out of the corner of his eye. King Revo then being killed, but fortunately being saved by Connor. Connor Fire was on hand to prevent the removal of Island B. And now you can see they're defending that point. Let's move out to the rest of the map. You can now see the bleed successfully staying in the hands of the Russian team. Down to 150 tickets, 97 in favour of Russia. This is the kind of thing that now Exertus want to hold this island. They have to hold this island to ensure that the bleed remains consistent. And you can see there that these Q guys pretty much getting into a little bit of a standoff between the two. So let's follow the battle on Island B. This is where the dinosaurs were born. What can I say? Yes, if you get what that reference is, I'll be very impressed. Right, we're in with Phantom. Phantom currently not looking in a good situation. Oh no, he goes for the res! Oh, poor Phantom. Oh, such unfortunate timing there as he ran around the corner, saw one of the enemy. One of the other enemies popped in on the spawn, and poor Phantom did not stand a chance as the B flag now moves into the hands of the Chinese team, and the bleed is re-established onto the Russian team. So the Exertus guys will have to change that around. They need to either push in hardcore for the C point, which looks like they might actually be trying to do, or they need to do some kind of action on the B island, Island B, and try and get that point back. But 78 tickets to 131, which reminds me, I'm going to need a pen and a piece of card, because otherwise I will not remember anything, because my mental maths is absolutely awful. So we are now watching, as you can see here, Little Pit Push. We're watching Rave as he's sniffing around looking for the enemy. He's got to be careful. He's waiting. He's waiting for the inevitable push. He moves in. Oh, look at that. Gets taken down almost immediately. Poor so we move over to Syriza, and now you can see here, this is the push that I was talking about. So you've got Phantom and Blackie. Look like they're trying to guard that A point. You've also then got a significant push by the MNG team to try and hold that C facility and ensure that the bleed actually remains in their favour, because they've got Exertus down to 62 tickets. And you're waiting to ambush the enemy combat at the moment. So you can see here the attempts by Hadoukens. He's moving in. He's taken down 2 members. There we go. King Revo as well. And there we go. Multiple grenades coming in. He's going to bounce that right off the edge of that little column just to get it down onto the guys down there. There we go. More fire coming in. And you can see a pretty substantial push by the Exertus guys into that point. Now, over here is Mr. Phantom, with a magnum and a most ridiculous sight you've ever seen in your entire life. And it looks like he's trying to get the guy on the B point to keep his head down. So you can see a little bit of suppressive fire in his general direction as the A point is captured, and the C point is about to fall into the hands of Exertus after a significant gunfight at the C point. So there you go. They now have the bleed. Now, this is the opportunity that Exertus were looking for, and this is a situation that's going to be very knotty as far as MNG are concerned. So let's move out, and we're following Monsieur Frozen, the water baby of the MNG team, currently out sunning himself and doing breaststroke across the rivers. You can see, taking a quick deep breath to try and hide his passage. Who doesn't want to do that? And now you can see Phantom waiting for the inevitable. King Revo moving up. Now, let's move into the firefight as they push into the point. And this looks like to be an ambush from all directions. That's exactly what it is. Syriza taken down, and conq also doing a little bit of fire. Nice shot onto Rave, and that is a textbook ambush by the members of Exertus. Now, let's look in and see how they're getting on, because we're going to look at combat. Currently sneaking around, being very quiet, looking for the opportunity. There he sees Hadouken, takes him down. Quick fire coming in from the Scar. The extra damage on that Scar doesn't have the same cyclic rate, but the extra damage really helps take people out pretty effectively. And now he's going to be in a world of hurt, as fortunately for him, lots of his teammates have decided to spawn in the general area, as now you can see Hadouken's returning fire into Viscous, and now they're looking to try and take that point back as the bleed is back in the favour of the Chinese. As the C point is taken, the B point is also taken. This is going to be a serious problem. They've got to turn it around very quickly. There's only 25 tickets separating these two teams, and this is going to be important for Exertus to turn this around as quickly as they can, get the bleed back onto the Chinese and get the tickets back in their favour. They do not have a lot of time. They've only got 42 minutes. I'm kidding. So they've got to be careful. You can see a little bit of fire coming in, and you can see Blackie making his way over. And there we go, a quick reload going in for conq as we watch around this area. King Revo moving in. Looks like his teammate Phantom has been taken down, and a little bit of health pack goodness going over the top as he's sneaking around. There we go, he's been ID'd by his prospective enemy, but now because they've got 2 against 1, this is a situation that they were looking for, so they can maybe get that cap point back again. But now the odds have changed, and we'll move in with Viscous as he's moving in. Fire taking into King Revo. King Revo being cut down by the M416, and now this is looking like a knotty situation as far as they're concerned. So it looks like that might be Phantom over in the corner, taking a quick duck behind the rock. Nades come flying out. Viscous returns with a nade of his own, comes in sneaking after. Another nade goes out. Looks like the impact, and you can wait and see what's happened. As now, there we go, Combat moves in on the flank, takes him out, and he secures that flag for the team. And now you can see the B point and the A point, or the B point being held by China, the A and the C being held by Exertus. And now this is going to be interesting to see what they do, because MNG now have the bleed against them. 62 tickets to 24. Oh, nice fire coming in there. The Ace 23 and the 93R from Hadoukens. Spray and pray, we love every moment. And now we're looking at 57 tickets to 24. And this is a bleed that the MNG guys need to get away from them as quickly as possible. And that might be the man to actually do it, along with his teammate who has just spawned on him. Means that they're going to try and focus the Exertus attention in this area here, and then possibly sneak around and do something along those lines. So we're going to watch him with Confire. In fact, no, we're going to watch in with Combat as he walks into what is the inevitable. Taking fire from one side, taking fire from another, and then finally taken down. As you can see, Syriza there, the yellow, black and yellow shark, taking down one member of Exertus, but also then taking fire from this other location. So we're looking at Confire at the moment. He is in the process of looking for his enemy, scanning the horizon. Let's look back on the map and find out what's going on over at A, because this is where the action is currently laying at the moment. 23 tickets to 23. This is the opportunity now that Exertus have to hold this point. If they do not hold this point, the bleed will be against them, and they'll only have 23 tickets in which to get it back. Now the bleed is continuing, and the points are flashing. Down to 16. Oh, nice fire there. Combat gets taken down. We're looking at iFrozen's. He's sneaking around the point. They're going to try and cap that point, but the question is whether or not they'll have enough people on that point. There goes iFrozen. And we're now looking at Syriza, who's also in there as well. Brings up his teammate, and now he's going to try and focus on. There we go. Look at that. Quick fire into multiple members of Exertus, but they managed to hold off, as it looks like Revo managed to revive his teammates, and unfortunately this is going to be a problem. So there we go, fire coming in, Phantom being taken down as soon as he moved out. This is going to be a knotty situation. It's down to 11 tickets to 13. 13 currently tickets in favour, 12 tickets to 11. Now the burn is getting very nasty. 10 tickets to 9. This is a really knotty situation. 8 tickets to 9. The burn is on the Russian team. Exertus have to get this burn off them as quickly as possible, but right now MNG are all over that point, and I don't think they're going to be able to turn it around quickly enough. Another member of Exertus goes down, and they might lose out with 8 tickets to 0. Wowzers, ladies and gentlemen, wowzers. So I shall be making notes of XTS versus MNG round number 1, and that will be Exertus 0, MNG 8. Makes me sound like I'm announcing the football results. So, only 8 tickets between the two teams. Now, let's just move to a different splash screen, and we shall wait and see what's happening. Now, this was an interesting map. This was an interesting battle, and you saw pretty much what you expected. Is you saw the push of both of the teams into that B island, Island B, home of the dinosaurs, and they essentially moved into that point. You saw, I think, 3 coming in from MNG and 2 coming in from Exertus. As a result, I think it was that the Chinese team, that was MNG, managed to capture that point and hold it. That then gave them the advantage for when they got the flag that was nearest the gimme point. So that helped them out. Whether or not Exertus decide to change it up, bear in mind there are 267 tickets that are the difference, or how you start off with, I should say, on the teams. So we shall wait and see. Now we shall get back into the map, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's only 27 seconds away from round number 2. So I wonder how the teams are going to do it, especially Exertus. There's only 8 tickets difference. Only 8. And bear in mind there will be essentially 1 map per round. So, with such a small margin, this is an opportunity for Exertus to turn it about And you can see now, obviously, it looks like it may not start. Yeah, I think we're going to come in possibly for another respawn, because King Revo doesn't appear to have spawned yet. So, now, China, there we go. China is Exertus, MNG, and it looks like, yeah, look at this. Complete change up from the previous time. Look at that, and look at that. Now, what I'm thinking is these guys here are going to go hardcore for that. So, we shall just have to wait and see what turns out. Now, question is, yeah, there we go. That's kind of what I expected to see. A bit of a change up in tactics by Exertus. And now they're putting a little bit of shock and awe against the enemy. Now, the problem is, as far as they're concerned, are these guys going to need to suicide to get back into position? Or are they going to remain there and try and swim over? Because if they do try and swim over, they're going to come under fire from the enemy pretty quickly. So, let's find out what's going on as we follow in with Blackie as they're moving in towards the A point right now. Thank you, Jacastle. I appreciate the comment. That's very nice of you to say so. And now it's all kicking off. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Blackie is moving into the point along with his members of Exertus. And you can see now, look at this. MNG are here in force. And they are determined to ensure that that flag stays in the hands of the Russians. Unfortunately, Frozen will not be there to see it, as he is currently pushing up the daisies. So, we're watching Syriza trying to defend the point. However, sheer weight of numbers in the facts of Exertus, the likes of King Revo et al., are pushing that point in the favour of the Chinese. So the burn now onto the MNG team. And this is what Exertus need to try and hold as best they can. But I think MNG are onto them, and they are now squad bombing this point to try and get it back into the ownership. Nice fire from Syriza onto Hadoukens, and now these guys are looking to hold that point. Now, you've also got Monsieur Combat, who looks to have a ACOG and then obviously a 2x magnifier so that he can snipe any nasty people who are coming in his general direction. So, what are Exertus going to do now? Are they going to focus all their attention on holding this point and fighting over this point? Because if they are, it's going to be one hell of a battle up against these guys. So MNG going to fight tooth and nail to hold on to that point, and now the A point is starting to flash, and you can see that Russia already have a ticket deficit up the top of the screen. You can see there they have the ticket deficit. Bear in mind that in order to win, they will have to win by more than 8 tickets, and that's not a very big margin, and things can change so very quickly in this particular game mode and with this number of members, because you can get a squad wipe and it's all going to be over very quickly, and it basically, you might as well just flush it all down the toilet for all the good it will do you. But we are watching the Italian black and yellow shark at the moment. It is Syriza, so you can see more fire coming in, and he's using, there we go, a little bit of laser fire coming in, as you can see. His teammate down there, Viscous, also taking a little bit of fire. And you can see them getting caught in this situation. And it's not a good situation for them to be in, because you can see Exertus, oh, Frozen and Blackie trading there as they tried to move in on the point. The only drawback for Frozen is he didn't have a teammate nearby in order to revive him. Blackie was able to revive, or get revived by his teammate, and now they're holding the advantage. Now they're holding that A point, and now they're pushing in towards MNG. So Viscous being taken down, it looks like Rave at the moment. There we go, Frozen pops in as well. So this is a knotty situation as far as MNG are concerned, and you can see here, as a result of this, it shows a successful change in strategy by Exertus. They've changed up how they wanted to focus their attention. They've decided they don't want to do anything relating to this, and have now basically decided, let's try and hold both of these points and do as much damage as we can, get the bleed on them right from the start. And we're now looking at Frozen. He's in there with the AEK. For those of you not familiar with the AEK, very high cyclic weapon. You can spit a lot of bullets downfield. Oh, listen to that report coming in from the AEK 971. The only drawback, it does a lot of recoil, a huge amount of recoil. So you're probably likely to see a stubby grip on the front or something along those lines to try and control that recoil, as now the A point is starting to flicker. The A point is starting to flicker, as you can now see members of Exertus being taken down, and we're now looking at Syriza trying to guard the point against a push-in from the Exertus team, and now they've got to be very careful. They've got to be very careful as the point now moving back into the ownership of the Russian team. Or sorry, into, yeah, I think it's the Russian team. No, it's moving back again. So you can see this is where all the battles are concerning. There's Phantom coming in. A little bit of fire into the windows. He's got the M16A4. His friend is dead nearby him. He's got to be careful. He's got to secure that point before he even tries to go for the revive. If he does, he'll die. And there's a situation as he... Oh, that was so close. He took down Vicious, and it looks like trading going on as well. So lots of fire going on at this point. You can see nice fire coming in from Blackie. He's going to try and revive his teammates as quickly as possible. He may not be able to get to King Revo in time, but he's now going to try and take under fire as he hides behind one of the comfy chairs, which are well armoured. And you can now see Phantom and the other members of XTS moving into that point and making sure that that point now moves back into the ownership of the Chinese team. However, Syriza has something to say about that, and we shall wait and see how it works out for Mr. Syriza as he's going up against a rather large amount of the Exertus team. Now, the likes of Mr. Revo here, and there we go, that's Hadouken's dealing with one of the MNG guys as he pushes in towards the point. The burn now back in favour, so he's going for a quick revive onto Phantom, gets Phantom back up, chucks down the med pack to give him a little bit of extra healing. Nice little turn and kill into Viscous. He's now got to check, oh, and he comes in for that. Oh, look at that. Nice jump on them by King Revo, and taking down two members as Phantom unfortunately gets taken down very quickly. And now we're looking at a good situation, 236 tickets to 193, and now I think it's fair to say that this is a good situation, but things are changing. Things are changing, boys and girls, over at the C point. The C point is now being contested by MNG. They've decided to shift their focus, and the same thing exactly as Dogbert would say, they've decided to change their focus. They're not fighting for this point. They are literally now fighting for this point, forcing Exertus to change their effectiveness, or at least change their focus down onto a different point. So, there we go. In comes the fire from the M16A4 of Phantom. Looks like one member taken down, and then Phantom returning fire as Combat takes a little bit of fire as he is being in the process of being revived. So this point now in the process of being contested between the two teams, MNG and Exertus, and you can see loads of fire coming in, and now we're looking at a bleed onto the Chinese team, but the C point now being contested. So you're looking at Hadouken's, Blackie, and of course Phantom, and they're going up against the likes of Combat and iFrozen, so they definitely have an advantage in this situation. Has he picked the right target? He takes down Phantom, comes out with a pistol, oh, but can't finish it off there. Unfortunately, pistol versus assault rifle, you're not going to win that easily, but fortunately Combat's on hand to take down his enemy and move in and take that point. So the bleed now onto the Russian team, 188 tickets to 197, and this is the situation that Exertus were not hoping would not occur. Now look at this, see them changing that focus ever so slightly. You've now got Phantom moving out as well. The A point currently being held by Exertus. This other point here in the process of now being defended quite significantly by MNG. They want to hold that point. Let's move in with Hadouken's, as you can see him in that general area trying to defend that point, trying to give a little bit of fire back towards the MNG team. Let's see if we can follow that gentleman there. There's Phantom moving in as well. Now you can see this point, Syriza currently in the process of trying to defend the dinosaurs, so we're waiting to see what's going on. There we go, a little bit of fire going into one of the enemy. Blackie gets taken down, he gets caught in the reloading and didn't stand a chance. Syriza gets taken down, meaning now the bleed will move very quickly back over to Exertus. Hadouken's currently about to be the centre of attention for this reason. Moving in very slowly, Rave and Combat and another team member into the buildings, checking their corners, making sure that there's no devious evil enemies in the vicinity, checking that stairwell, making sure that there's nobody up there on the roof, which is where they'd expect somebody to be, waiting for him to poke his head out, covering those corners. So, in comes Hadouken's, and drills Combat in the side of the body. So poor old Combat, unfortunately, looking in the wrong direction, We're probably looking at the relevant slideshow. There we go. Syriza being taken down. And Syriza and XTS Hadokens trading kills there. And you can see Blackie now. There we go. That little sort of sudden sort of jerk effect is when an enemy or a friend spawns on you. So now Blackie trying to get that point back from the ownership of the Russian team. 172 tickets to 156. Pops a nade down, bounces it off the side of the building. There we go. Few nades going out. So those are the micro grenades, basically forcing the enemy to keep his head down. And now he's going to be careful because MNG Frozen is on the home of the dinosaurs. And now we're watching with the Exertus Phantom along with his teammate. No, that's not his teammate. That's his teammate. So, interesting little point they have here. Let's find out what's going on over at A point, because that's where the battle's going to be. So, Frozen, and you can see now the bleed for the A point flashing as fire coming in, taking down Frozen very quickly indeed. And now you can see, oh, look at that nade. Isn't that beautiful? Perhaps that nade wasn't so beautiful. So now you can see Rave and Syriza trying to get up that stairwell. They're in a tricky situation. Will they decide to push to the other building and then move in on the point? As Frozen taking bullets, he tries to go up the stairwell. As more nades coming in, you can see nades coming in from all directions. And unfortunately, Rave is no more possibly killed yet. Looks like he was taken down by Kona. And now the bleed is 131 tickets, 171 tickets for China. So Exertus currently turning it around. 13 to 5 Hadoukens looking at the moment. And it's looking pretty good as far as they're concerned. However, MNG may have something to say about that particular assumption. So Syriza moving in closely. Oh, there we go. Taking a load of bullets and hurling them in Kona Fire's face, courtesy of a big gun. So now the A point ownership starting to be contested as Blackie gets shot in the face. More members of Exertus sniffing around the area. And over here are members of MNG. And here is a young gentleman from Exertus waiting for the inevitable firefight that he knows is coming. So, we wait. We wait for the inevitable, as the C point now is changing to the ownership of the Russian team, currently held by Exertus. Now changing, meaning the bleed will then be onto Exertus. But look at that, 167 tickets to 92. So currently looking like Exertus are in a commanding position. However, as you guys well know, this is Battlefield. That could change. They could end up flushing it down the toilet very quickly, as fortunes are wont to change in this particular game, as MNG are onto their attack. As you can see now, Exertus taking a back foot. There we go, Confire taken down as MNG looking to successfully defend that point. Now, this is kind of what's expected. Over here, a sneaky combat. In here, the water babies from Exertus, wringing out their underwear, determined to get that point and get the bleed back onto the Russian team. Now, in the meantime, that means then that the likes of Exertus and Phantom can move in and start mopping up the other members of MNG to try and take some of those tickets down as quickly as possible. If they manage to get... Traded between Phantom and Frozen. Don't know what he was shooting at there. So Hadouken still remaining in place. And now you can see the C point in the process of changing ownership, as the B point has been completely taken by the Chinese team. So you can see Phantom, the only man left down at the moment. And there we go. So you can see other people looking to spawn in that particular area. And there we go. You can see another bleed now back in the favour of the Chinese team. 140 tickets to 76. So looking good as far as they're concerned. Now, let's see. This is going to be interesting to see what happens as we follow Rave as he makes his way in. As he's got to be careful. Looking for Syriza. Oh, there we go. Nearly got knifed Nearly got knifed by Phantom. Phantom in there with a very cheeky little sneak up behind his enemy. Knew that there wasn't really much he could do, so he's probably sent out the word that the enemy are at the point, and now they're going to try and push in. As you can see, 2 members of MNG desperately trying to defend that point. Now you can see there's only a single bleed onto the Chinese team as more fire coming into Hadoken from iFrozen's AEK as iFrozen gets shot down very nastily indeed. And now we're looking over to the yellow and black shark Syriza as he makes his way over to the next point. Note decides to change his mind and make his way back as the C point has now re-established that bleed back on there. And this currently is King Revo. Oh god, this could get messy. King Revo could need to go clutch with only 47 tickets left for the Russian team. He doesn't know who to shoot at. King Revo taking cover, and he's gonna... yeah, they didn't really stand a chance, not against 2 guys both focused firing on him. So King Revo unfortunately losing that point. But now what that means is that you can actually get the Exertus team then start to make their way across over to the next point and try and re-establish that bleed. They have the advantage of about 60 tickets maybe, we'll have to see. No, about 70 tickets as Syriza, don't know what happened there. So Syriza got taken down as we're looking at Cone of Fire, also in with the Black Shark. That nade! Oh, that nade was judged to perfection. Absolutely judged to perfection by MNG. And poor old Confire there, catching that nade right between the eyes. And yeah, he's got a bigger smile than he had before. So let's wait and see what's going on. As let's move into the map view so you can see here the various members of Exertus and the various members of MNG. Now fighting over this point. MNG need to get this point and hold it in order to get that bleed off of them and get that ticket advantage. Nice fire coming in as Syriza takes down Kona again. So poor old Kona is no more. More fire coming in from that deadly scar. That slow cyclic rate but the high damaging bullet is what gives you that advantage. Up against the likes of the AEK, it doesn't spit out as many bullets, but the higher damage gives you the advantage if you are accurate with that fire. As you can now see, Syriza hiding next to his med pack and trying his best to deal with these guys who are determined to take that point. However, there's a Phantom over here waiting for an opportunity as loads of his teammates decide to come say hello. So, MNG moving out. The burn, or the bleed I should say, 95 tickets to 39. The C point now flashing, with MNG iFrozen moving in to support his team. However, these buggers are here. And they're going to start moving in because they've got that point and they want this point, but they don't have the B point. So is Blackie going to go for a swim? We'll wait and see. Because now we're looking at iFrozen taken down very roughly. We're moving for Cone of Fire as he's moving in. Or Cone of Fire. Yeah, I suppose that's what it is. Cone of Fire. Yeah. Understand it now. Yeah, get through the glass already. I don't know why they do it. They have no patience. It's a automatic slide door. You've got to wait for it to open and then you make your way through it. Can you imagine how much fun it is going shopping with this lot? More nades coming out from the likes of Exertus. Now they're looking to re-establish their dominance onto the C point, which is exactly what is happening at this current moment. Unfortunately, Blackie is Billy No Mates. He's pretty much on his lonesome, but he's doing the job that is required. He's got to defend that point now. Over at the B point, you've also got Mr.Dogbert, who is pretty much also all alone and singing a sad lament as the battle is occurring over point C between Exertus and MNG. And look at that ticket bleed. Look at that, 57 to 35. Oh my goodness, this is a serious thing going on here. China got to get that bleed back in their favour as quickly as possible. MNG really need to get that bleed back into their favour as well. Another member of MNG goes down. Bear in mind there's only 8 tickets, the difference between these two teams. Down goes the med pack as MNG get their people back up as quickly as possible. A quick putt rush in there by Exertus. Loses 2 people. And you've noticed Phantom staying very safe location, 23 tickets to 56. There's a 2-to-1 advantage as far as Exertus is concerned. Bear in mind, this is the second round of the first map. As you can see, fire coming in from Phantom. And they guys got to be careful, as he may have just given away his position. So, Syriza waiting. 11 tickets remaining, 54 tickets for China. It's looking good thus far. Bear in mind there is only 8 tickets the difference. And there we go, more fire coming in from Phantom. Looks like the Exertus guys have decided to push whatever advantage they had, as Combat now moves in as well. And now you can see the tickets down to 4, down to 3, down to 2. And it's 53 in favour of China. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, 53-0 in favour of Exertus in that second round. So, that was a win of 45 tickets generally. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the first map and the first round on the board. So, let us move over and have a look, because that has been the first one. Now, we've just looked at, obviously, that means they'll go on to meet Leisure BF4. Now, for those of you who are not aware, if they are the same ones I think they are, yeah, they kind of won. They're kind of, yeah, they did pretty well in the Obliteration Cup. These are the guys who essentially won the Obliteration Cup, I believe. I think. I could be wrong, but it could be the same guys. Anyway, let me just double check on the names. No, it looks like it might be a slightly different team, so it may not be the same guys. So, anyway, that will be Leisure BF4 versus Exertus EU, or Exertus EU. So, we are waiting to see what the next map will be. Let me just show you these brackets. So, here we go. So, this has been Exertus EU versus MNG Team Atilax. And the next map, which we shall now have a look at, is Siege of Shanghai. So, that's the next map that you've got coming up in the round of 16. There you go. So, let's see what other options we have in here. You've got multiple teams still to play, and the results still to come in. Let's do a quick refresh and see how that looks. So, as you can see, there we go. So, Team Dolan Revival have actually beaten National Battlefield Network. And you can also see the Night Soldiers here managed to advance against Interlude. Let's see how they got on. So, you can see, let's have a look. So, the first, yeah. So, oh wow, not many points. That's that was pretty damn close, I have to say. So, looks like to be a good game there between those two teams. And Team Frostbite took on Enigma Gaming. So these guys, Team Frostbite Artisan, as you can see, they won 218 to 26. That was pretty, yeah. Unfortunately, Enigma Game, unfortunately, unable to get against the likes of Nerve, Orgasmo, Ramsky and Kino, who we've seen in action in the Obliteration Final. So we shall wait and see what the next map or the next match is going to be, and we shall be bringing you that. So in the meantime, stay tuned. This is my chance to inflict more music upon you, and while I sort out the next match. So stay tuned. You're listening to Chadman, and this is the ESL 5-on-5 Conquest Small Test Cup 1. Be right back. Okay guys, I do apologise, but what I'm going to have to quickly do is my delay program seems to have actually died on me. So what I'm going to have to do is put in a quick delay program using Twitch, but it means having to take the stream offline literally for a matter of a few seconds and then come back. So I hope you guys will come back with me, and I'll be back in a matter of seconds.